It's actually
Okay, it's
happening though in certain
happening. It's
countries.
happening in
Believe me.
Australia.
The
I didn't
government
even
is
bring it
actually,
up.
but the government is actually taking over in the streets to civilians and
Bro,
stuff in
does
certain
he?
countries right now. It's actually on the news. It's actually happening. What is he
It's
talking about?
legit, Joe. Like it's actually legit. It's happening. It's
Yeah,
being news covered.
this isn't a
It's covered
theory.
by the
This is a
news.
fact.
Danny says, "Oh, around the country, it's already happening.
No,
Martial
not
law.
our country, in
Other
other
Dude, I didn't
countries.
say our
other
country.
countries' government is already trying to control. Or what were you just saying about it? I didn't even listen because it was pissing me off.
I'm fucking reading legit what it says
It's in
on the fucking
Australia.
news.
They're
In
actually
Australia.
their government, their army or whatever, is actually taking over in the streets.
Australia's army is like actually taking over.
It's
all
basically
areas
like
of
martial
Australia
law that's
and,
been
like,
starting to happen.
making people do what they say.
No, it's not making people do what they say. They're literally monitoring their social media accounts and their bank accounts.
Bro, they do that to us every day. All around
Joe,
the
can
world.
you please shut
Everybody
up for a
monitors
second
our
and
shit
listen to what
already.
we're
It's been
saying? I
happening
said
for
three
years.
sentences, said 3 words. And I didn't even bring this up. Frank brought it up.
I did
But no,
bring this up.
explain that to me. It's been happening for years. The government, everybody.
No,
The
explain
fucking
what?
the
I
Snowden
didn't even
guy.
get to the topic that I'm trying to say yet.
Yeah, he's just
What?
so mad about this topic that he's just.
Because I hate when people are like, "Oh, bro, anytime now, it's in the process, it's happening."
No,
Our government's gonna make
So
us
if
do
you-
everything they say, and they're
if
gonna
you-
disperse.
No,
our
that's not what we were
fucking
talking about. We're not
National
talking
Reserve
about.
Listen,
Army on
Joe.
us.
Bro,
No,
we
Joe.
didn't even say anything about our country. We were just saying, I said, I was like, I would love
Really?
to go move somewhere else. I said, let's go move to England. And he said, do you know what's happening in Australia right now? Right now,
Nothing's
in
happening in Australia.
Australia's
No,
on lockdown
read-
right now. There's a
Dude,
lockdown in
they're on
Australia.
lockdown. Okay, so just like the rest of the world was on lockdown.
No, there is
Joe,
actually
Joe,
army in their
Joe.
streets that is locking them
Joe,
down.
listen, just
Because,
listen.
bro, people don't
Just
fucking listen there. Stay in your fucking house like the rest of the world did. Do you see army in our streets? No, because we listened. Things got better, and that was it. Australia, nobody gives a shit, and things are getting worse because it's real.
No, oh my
I can't with this
goodness.
kid. How does he
I
not
can't
even
either.
see what he's even saying? What you're saying is happening, Joe.
Oh man.
If you don't listen to the government, we're gonna come to your house and make sure you listen. Okay, you know what? I'll just listen. Joe, we shouldn't be
Is it
listening to
affecting
our
you?
government.
Is it affecting you right now?
Joe, just because it's not affecting you right now doesn't
Doesn't
mean
mean
it's
it
not
can't
gonna
affect
you.
in the
It's going to
future.
come
Yeah,
here.
it can't mean it doesn't mean it can't
That's
happen.
that's how
If it's happening in
Australia
other
on
places-
lockdown is gonna fucking really hurt us in another 5 years.
Time out,
I'm
time
telling
out,
you.
time out.
If
time
it's
out,
happening
time out,
like
time
this in
out.
other
Stop.
places, right?
Wait. In France in 1944, they were like, oh, well, they're invading Poland, not us. What happened a year fucking later?
Bro, that's war. What are you talking about?
This is martial law. This is what's gonna happen. Just because it's happening in Australia,
it's not just
doesn't mean
gonna.
it's not gonna
they-
happen.
Well, I don't wanna
they
say
can't
it's
just have
what's
the
gonna
army
happen.
come in and control our
It's a
life.
possibility.
It'll
I don't want to
never
say it's
happen.
what's going to happen. It could
It'll
happen.
never happen. It has
It
never
could
happened.
It
It has
definitely
never
could happen.
happened.
Yeah, but we've also never had a president that said, "Take this because my patience is wearing thin." Did you
Right,
not
he's
see
a
his
jerk
last
off,
fucking?
and he's going to be gone in another 2 years. So,
But
who
I'm
gives a
just
fuck?
saying,
No.
it doesn't matter. What could happen in the next 2 years, bro?
Just because he's gonna be gone doesn't mean that you're gonna not need to be vaccinated. In order to be
Trump's
part of
coming back in the
society.
office, and he ain't going to let martial law happen.
Okay, but
Okay,
you don't
I
know
get that,
again,
Joe, but
that
at the
could
same
happen.
time,
Like you
just
both,
because
you're
it's-
both saying this will happen. It could happen either
I'm
way,
not
but
saying it
we
will.
don't know is what the fucked up part is.
But what I'm saying, and I'm agreeing with Frank,
Right,
surprisingly,
because
is
we're
that
conspiracy theorists,
no,
and
it's
it
not
could
a
happen.
conspiracy theory.
not a
It's fucking
conspiracy.
happening. It's
Yeah.
real.
It's not a conspiracy, bro. This
Dude, they're
actually
mandating
what we
a
were talking about.
vaccine.
No, but
And-
even the vaccine, and aside from what Danny's other feelings on that are, because we know you have other feelings on that right now.
There's so many
But,
feelings.
but what we were talking about is just what's happening in Australia and the lockdown, and it's just crazy about how things are actually going on out there right now. But he is right. It is because of the Delta virus. It is because of whatever outbreaks out there and since happening since June and blah blah blah, the people and the counts and stuff like that. But I'm
But
just
at the same
saying,
time,
because the outbreak happened out there and this happened for them to control it, they're saying this is the only way we're going to control it. It doesn't mean it can't happen here. Like, look at places like Florida, that when other numbers were getting under control, their numbers were still spiking and up there and whatever. If any area starts to spike, who's to say they're not? Dude, I was driving to Pennsylvania the other day and there was like 20 fucking tanks and Humvees and this and that in a row passing me on the highway the other way. And I was like, What the fuck? Like in Pennsylvania, what the fuck is that there for? In case they need to fucking take over. That's just to me.
I don't know. It's just I think he stepped aside for a second, but he did text us. Let me read what he said.
I know. I'm looking at it now too.
Dude, it's a matter
Wait,
of
he said they will be out in the streets in a month. That's if they are in the streets, and because their army is out in the streets, don't mean they are making you do what they want.
dude.
You don't
he's
think
not, you know
people
what
in the
it is?
army have families as well?
People
Yes,
are
the
just
people in the army
following
have to
orders.
follow orders. Yeah,
They're
they have to
following
follow orders.
That's it.
No matter what, if you're in the army, you have to follow orders. They're gonna make you follow orders, or
It doesn't.
that's it.
It's fucked up. It's fucked up because like I'm not saying look, everybody has our own source of where we see this shit from. Sometimes for me it's TikTok or Instagram stories or
Wait, he's using you. So he said Danny is an EMT. This is not an army of fucking robots. He has to follow orders. Is he following orders? Yes. I mean,
what do you mean?
there's
I
certain
have
things
to,
that he has to
it's
follow
either
orders.
conform or get terminated. People like Joe are gonna conform. I'm gonna get terminated.
Well, that's exactly how I feel like it's either.
You know, and like I understand that it's different though, because if you're in a branch of military and you don't follow orders, they will strip you from all of your benefits and you will be an outcast. You won't be able to get a job. It's
and not only that,
before.
aside from that, it'll be harder for you to get other things because you would be dishonorably discharged. This and that. Like, there's so many other things and ways that they would affect you that, yeah, you're gonna just fall in line because you're not gonna hurt yourself so much more just to stand up as an individual. That's the whole problem. That's why the government is so easy to take things over, because they keep people separated. They keep groups divided up. They
divide and conquer.
Yeah. So they make people, it's just like if you were like involved in a case, right? And cops bring you up in a room separately. They're going to try and get one of you to fucking spill, because it's the same thing. If you guys stick together, same thing like a union, like anything else, people sticking together in numbers is how you're going to get things done. But if you get people to conform and not stick with those numbers and not do what they want to do and just follow orders, that's how you're going to get things. And the easiest way for them to do that is strip titles, restrictions, punishments, making your life harder in all those different ways, dude. Like,
it's going to happen one way or another. And
it could happen.
Okay.
Stop saying gonna. Stop saying will.
All right. I'm just saying that basically, just because it's happening in Australia doesn't mean that it can't or won't or possibly won't happen here. Because just because it's starting somewhere else, it usually travels. Think about it. Think about this pandemic when it first started. They were like, oh, there's only cases in China. Don't worry, it's not going to come here. Oh, there's only cases in New York. It's not going to come here.
Don't even relate it to COVID. Relate it to something positive. Marijuana started in Colorado. Look at it now.
There you go.
Fucking something goes somewhere and it spreads to other places. It's just like things with New York and New Jersey go hand in hand. Once one thing happens in one state, something happens in the other state. Like it's just how it fucking is, dude. And it is that way because everything is a fucking plan, Joe. Everything is a fucking conspiracy theory. Dude, no, but honestly, to me, how is that not, you know what I mean? How can you not say that's not a possibility? Because it all does fit together. If it isn't a plan, if it isn't, oh, hey, let's start letting weed be available this many years down the line after we can do this, control it, do this, make this much more money on it. I seen so much stuff the other day about like them making like houses out of hemp and this and stuff, blah, blah, blah. Because think about all the things they worked out before they let it become legal. Think about all the different aspects and so many different scales of whatever for them to profit on it before they can fucking make it available for us. You know what I mean? They do that with fucking everything, dude. There's a fucking plan for all that shit. Just why fucking Biden played the fucking nice old guy role, got everybody to believe who the fuck he was, and they all fucking fell for it. And then now he's in the office and he's just doing what the fuck he's being told to do.
Whatever the fuck.
Oh, you need us to get the vaccine? Yeah. Hey, everybody get this vaccine, because if not, our patience is wearing thin. What the fuck does that mean?
That sounds like a threat.
You know what I'm saying? What the fuck does that mean?
He literally said, if you want to be part of society, you must get this vaccine. Do you know what that means? That means that in Australia, when they're monitoring your social media accounts and your bank accounts and your transactions with Venmo and PayPal, yes, I get it, Joe. They've been monitoring that for years now. It's called the social dilemma. If you haven't seen the fucking Netflix thing, check it out. It's crazy. But based on all of that, they're going to see all the transactions you make and they're going to be able to monitor it and stop it from happening. Or let's say you're not vaccinated. Let's just say that you're not vaccinated and it's 3 years from now. And they're like, you can only shop in, let's say you can't shop in Costco or BJ's because you can only shop in Costco and BJ's if you're vaccinated. If you're not vaccinated, you can only shop in Stop and Shop or ShopRite. Those Stop and Shop and ShopRite are not going to have the same amount or same type of foods that Costco and BJ's is going to have. And they're going to be like, you don't have your vaccine card, you can't go in. I'm sorry.
It happened to me the other day.
State.
It literally happened to me the other day.
Real quick, let me just say this. There's a movie called Gray State and Songbird where they both have to do with if I'm not mistaken, I didn't watch them yet, but if I'm not mistaken, they have to do with either getting your papers or vaccines or something like that along those lines. And in the movie, it shows the poverty that people go through when they're not part of society and how you have to be walking around and how there will be police or military in the streets making sure that everyone's in curfew at 9 o'clock or whatever.
Dude, it happened to me the other day.
What's the word? Exile you.
Yeah.
Check those movies out. Gray State and Songbird.
The other day, I'm in the mall.
The director of Songbird was murdered.
The other day, I was in the mall with the kids, walking around the mall, going shopping, going to the stores. They were hungry. I was like, all right, let's go to the food court. Right by the food court entrance, there's security guards making you show your vaccine card, or they couldn't let you in to eat or whatever. So I was just like, really? Like already? Okay, whatever. And
you can walk around the mall, but you can't go eat food.
And I was just like, what? Like I can go shopping, I can grab all the clothes and this and that, blah, 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 but food is the only thing I can't do because that's your choice. I just don't get that. I just don't get.
Listen. Horrible what they're doing to people like Danny and all these other people.
I fucking pray that this never happens. But honestly, when it comes to, and I'm going to be like, I told you so.
Made vaccinations free, safe, and convenient.
This guy's a dick. Turn it off, bro. He's a jerk off.
That I'm just saying.
Dude, this is where we live in. This is how we're living right now.
Danny, but listen.
So you're saying it's not going to happen with someone like him in charge right now for the next 2 years?
That message was fucking ridiculous, bro. I didn't even know that was a thing. And I read the paper and I follow the news. How I missed that, I don't know. What a moron.
Absolutely.
Hold on.
But it doesn't matter if he's a moron.
Wait, let him go because we went for a while.
Wait. 1 second. Right. You just spoke and nobody listened to my text. Nobody saw my text.
I was reading your text. What do you mean?
Oh, I'm not. I'm working on a script.
So the guy's a fucking asshole. And I know it doesn't matter if it's this asshole or a different asshole. It is what it is, right? But the way, not even just his commercials, there's a bunch of commercials about this vaccination. Every single commercial, literally it says in the commercial, you have to get it. It basically says like, you need it. You have to get it.
You think that's
like,
right?
There was the one commercial, the school one about kids, and it literally says like, your kids' lives depend on it. Like, you got to get it, which is like, how the fuck that's how you advertise it? You tell people they need it? No, that is so fucked up. It's so wrong. You shouldn't be doing it that way. Should you get it? Yes. Right? Whatever. If you don't want to, whatever. No big deal. The whole thing with them saying, oh,
and it is a big deal now, actually.
See, right. I'm waiting for him to finish, but I agree with that because what you're saying is right, but that's not how they're treating it.
Hold on. Now to go off this whole thing where you're like, oh, they're on a curfew.
Hold on, wait, you just blacked out. What?
Yeah, they're on a curfew. What?
I did. I blacked out. You hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you.
Oh, my bad. I hit the thing here. Bro, we had a curfew when this shit just started, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like a serious curfew. Like, you're going to jail. There's fines. Like, nobody was allowed out in the streets. Nobody.
There were some cities that had cops in the streets too.
Hold on, let me finish. Nobody knew what the fuck was going on.
It
was like kind of scary in the beginning. There was a curfew.
Mm-hmm.
During that curfew, I know people that were fucking throwing parties. A guy was drunk and crashed through my neighbor's house, literally through the house. There was very little to none of like someone patrolling our curfew. Okay, the army in the streets is a different fucking thing. But bro, there is always going to be resistance. There is no way they will be able to try to flood our streets with the army and think it's going to be a fucking cakewalk. There's no way. It'll never go down. It won't. And if it does, it'll be the biggest disaster ever. And I think the government knows that. I'm sure they thought this out. I don't think that it's planned whatsoever, but if they did think it out and plan it, they know how stupid of a fucking idea that is, because it would turn everybody upside. And now this isn't 40 years ago where social media didn't exist, cell phones, television. Everybody has like a mouth. Everybody has something to say. Everybody has something to say.
Yes.
People are so sensitive right now. You think all these little crybabies, the big celebrities and people that were posting videos, I'm stuck in my house, I'm going through depression. People were losing their minds. And nobody was even really forcing them, like standing out in the street saying, you better not come out.
Not true. That's what I was waiting to say. That's not true.
So hold on. Wait, Frank. I know what you're going to
say.
say. You could say it 1 second. But like, it'll just never, bro.
Never say never.
Danny, I'm just saying, I won't say never, but statistically, and like you're talking about the government of if it is planned, they've been doing all these other things right so far and haven't fucked up. They're not that stupid to say, all right, we're going to fucking flood the streets of America and make sure people do what the fuck we say. It just, bro, it would never, bro, all the people in the United States, all these fucking prissy, sensitive, fucking
liberal Democrats,
right, that sit in their house on their phones, like, and cry about everything. Oh, this guy looked at me wrong crossing the street on the other side of my, bro, people cry and whine about everything.
Okay, but
there's
no way, Frank,
no way America will let that happen today. There's no way.
They're telling on each other, right? So now if I'm walking in the streets without a mask, no, Frank,
no, real quick, Frank, hold on, let me talk for 5 minutes.
People will ensure martial law goes on, because if I'm not wearing a mask, they're going to yell and tell on me. He's not wearing a mask. Get him.
That's only because they feel like they have to do that.
They're going to make people go against each other. Our friends and family are not going to be our friends and family anymore.
Can you stop with the martial law for 1 second?
Yeah, but Danny, but that's like walking. That's like walking in. That's like walking into the deli now. I walk into the same deli. In the beginning, it was like, yo, you can't come in here unless you have a mask. What? And they didn't even fucking care about the virus, but you had to do it because they were afraid of something else. Right.
They're following orders.
But now, 3 months later, I walk into that same deli with the same sign, printed out a newer version of it because the old one, that's how up to date they have to be on it, of the wear your mask in this store shit. I walk in now, and if I have my mask on, they're telling me to take my mask off. That's my point. Yeah, bro. Nobody, you walk in.
Telling you to take your mask off. Well, there's people.
The guy in the deli. What do you mean? The guy in the deli is like, bro, you don't
one deli that you go to.
You don't need to wear that mask.
A deli
the same
is a commercial
deli
business
that's supposed to be making sure my mask is on.
A deli isn't a corporate business, though, bro. A deli isn't a corporate business. That's like him going to Heska and saying like, "Oh, we're not going to refuse somebody" or something like that because of what they're telling me to do. But wait, hang on, because I've been waiting to go for a second because I've let you guys both go now. So wait.
Yeah.
What I was trying to say is you're saying that's not going to happen. It already happened. What about Chicago? What about cities like that were rioting and this and that? They had SWAT teams and people with
vests. They were rioting. People were looting and killing each other, bro.
What do you think is gonna fucking happen if they're like, oh, you have to take this now, or
okay, let me correct you real quick.
Hold on.
That's only gonna happen.
I waited patiently for you quietly.
So wait a second. You're gonna.
I let you go when I wanted to interrupt because I had points. Let me go. We're trying to go easily here, back and forth. We're all disagreeing on this, obviously, but let me say something before you want to come back at it and say the whole thing. Don't just pick apart on the first part and wait and hear the whole thing.
Let him speak.
If they are saying right now, oh, our patience is wearing thin. Oh, this is where we're getting to right now. Before, they were like, you have to wear a mask, and stores made you wear a mask. Now it says it's suggested. On those updated things, it doesn't say it's required. It says it's suggested. But you also have to be mandatory to have this vaccine card to go into restaurants, or you can't do it. So those are already things that are already starting to change to where it's you have to do this, or you're not going to be able to do these things. So now as it gets harder, because people are still going to, like you said, revolt or go against it or whatever, they're always going to be that. So as more people still continue to do that, you don't think that the rules are going to get harder? harder and harder and harder, and they're going to crack down harder and harder and harder. And if in places like with other things, when people didn't like when they were cracking down, they started rioting, you don't think riots are going to happen again, which again makes those officers come out with tear gas shields, this and that. And if it gets worse, you don't think it could lead to the army coming out, especially if it's happened in other countries already? Proceed.
Yeah. Now, can I just say something quick? The whole
done. I
thing
just
where
want
they
to-
had to send out the military to Chicago because of the riots. They only did that because, bro, they were getting so out of control.
That's what happens with a
the
riot.
people you're saying they're trying to control, tried to take control of a place we weren't supposed to take control of.
Yeah. Okay, so this has been the first
We're
week that we-
assholes. 1-0 government to us, because we're worried about them taking control of us, but why the fuck are we rioting about something that is totally, there's just no need to
I
fucking
agree with
riot
that.
and destroy and kill people over.
I agree with
Like,
that.
yeah,
but
that's
still
a
do
legit
it.
situation where you send in your fucking government to get control of the fucking situation.
But so you don't think, like, this is the first week where people have had to have the vaccine cards to go into restaurants, whatever. You don't think
Right.
in like a couple months from now, when people are sick of not being able to go into places or not being able to go to concerts or whatever, because they're someone that's in America, you should be able to be free, right? Free to have your own choice. So if you choose to not want to have the vaccine, you should still be able to do everything else as an American and have your right to do everything. That's the whole point of
Right.
living here.
Bro,
So if they're saying, no, you
can't.
can't do these things, no,
Right.
you can't go to concerts, no, you can't do that. You don't
There's no
think people
longer
are going
freedom.
to start to riot again, bro?
Right, I
you
get
don't think
it.
that's
You-
going to happen? So
The
I'm saying
total-
it is a possibility of happening. I'm not saying like Danny, it's
Right.
going to happen, but it's definitely a possibility. To say it's definitely not going to happen is crazy.
No, absolutely. I'm not saying it will never ever happen. I'm not.
You
But I'm
did
just
say
saying
that.
that
You
so
did
many
say
times-
that.
No,
You
no,
did
no,
say
no,
that.
No, no.
Never gonna
No.
happen. Never. Bro,
Because it
it'll
won't.
happen.
It won't. I don't think it'll.
Why?
I don't think
You
it
don't
will
think?
ever happen.
Okay.
I think
But like
That's
the
a conspiracy
bro,
theory.
listen, to get real for a minute, because I was a little amped before. The
we
possibility
over. This is
of
a
it
topic.
happening-
This is a topic.
I mean, bro, it's just a foolish fucking. It's more foolish to think that it will happen than to think that it won't.
Mm-mm.
Okay, but
maybe
now
not
just-
by much, but
Look,
I mean, dude.
Look, you
feel
could
the
say
opposite.
it's foolish to
Bro.
think that it won't happen more than it will. But just look at our
No.
past. History repeats itself, dude.
Right.
Look what's
What do you
going.
mean?
Let's just say we were living in Australia, because right now,
No, not even
us
Australia.
three-
Why don't you
hold on.
compare it to the 90s if history competes
could
itself?
do-
Compare it
that's
to
fine.
something in America.
whatever the case is, let's just say it, because it's not in America, it doesn't affect us right now. But let's say we were in Australia and this shit was affecting us. Then it's a different story. You wouldn't be saying that'll never happen, because it is currently happening, just not in your hometown.
Bro, nowadays you can never say.
Bro,
never.
America is not the greatest country in the world anymore.
You
Wait,
can't-
so you ready
I
for
hate
this?
that.
Orlando, Florida. Florida government,
But who
Ron,
gives a
whatever,
shit if it's
whatever,
the
has
greatest or
threatened
not?
local governments with $5,000 fines violating required for their employees
Yep.
to get vaccinated against the coronavirus. $5,000 fines in Florida. Gainesville and Orange County officials say they're going ahead with vaccine requirements. Florida has been a national epicenter for the virus, with the summer of COVID-19 deaths in Florida accounting for more than 20%, blah, blah, blah.
Time out.
Bangor,
Is that
Maine.
saying that- Is that saying that the businesses are getting fined $5,000 if they ask for the
No,
vaccine?
if their employees are coming to work not vaccinated.
Right. So they're
Um,
forcing business owners to.
they're
It's another
requiring
way
their
to just
employees
try
to get vaccinated.
anybody else vaccinated. Right.
Bro,
They're
Again,
basically
the whole
saying
way-
your employees cannot not be vaccinated. You will
The
get
whole
fined
way of them
$5,000
doing
for letting
it is
them work
fucked
there
up.
without that.
Right.
Bangor, Maine. Maine is starting the week with more than a dozen outbreaks of COVID-19, and many schools are testing, blah, 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 blah. As of Friday, private schools had signed up with a branch of Boston-based something for pool testing for students. The Bangor Daily News reports the program calls for students to be tested in pools sent to a lab in Massachusetts. If there's positive tests for the individuals, the school outbreaks come amid surge in infections tied to the Delta variant, which is spreading in Maine. So they're already, because they're starting to test kids now too, dude. Little kids in elementary
This is
school.
Yeah,
Because
bro.
they're
They're
trying-
human.
Dude,
Any
it's a
a baby.
No, but they're a child. They,
Bro,
they
a
shouldn't be able
child
to
could
do
get
that unless their
sick.
parents says it's
Just
okay.
because he's a child doesn't mean he can't get a virus at a
Right, but
50
why
year
does
old.
a
man.
child
but
need
a
a vaccine
school,
for
no,
something?
no, no,
No, I
no.
don't
A
think- I
school
don't think a
shouldn't be able
child
to
needs-
test a child without their parents' consent.
Consent.
They
Oh,
shouldn't
no,
be able
yes,
to just test
absolutely.
groups of
No,
children
right.
without being able
I
to
didn't
say
know
like
that.
my
You
parents
didn't
said it's
say that
okay.
they were just testing them without parental consent.
Well, I mean,
That's
I'm
a
not.
different story.
It doesn't say
That's a
anything
whole
about
different
parental
thing.
consent, but I'm just saying, like, either way, like that's a whole fucking
They're
thing.
not just fucking having kids line up and shooting a vaccine in them at school without asking.
No,
the
no, no, no.
parents.
Well, it's not even about a
Right, so
vaccine.
then
It's
what
about
We're
testing.
doing that in some
But I'm
places,
saying,
actually.
so what if you're a
Where?
parent that says
Pull
I
up
don't
an
I
want
don't
my
know
kid?
Here,
where.
please.
I don't
No, no,
remember when it was.
No, no, no. I'm not saying about vaccine,
Well,
but
can
what
you-
if you're a
can you
parent that
research
says
it?
I don't
It's
want my
Google. You
kid
should
to
be able
get
to find it,
tested, and
right?
now your kid can't go to that school? You know, so
Right.
just if you're someone that doesn't want your kid to get tested, he can't go to school now. Like that's
I mean,
not
bro,
freedom.
wait,
That's
hold
not
on. I'm sorry,
America.
Danny. So you're telling me you heard that schools are just vaccinating kids at school without getting parental consent?
I'm
Young
Googling
kids,
it for
young
you
kids?
now. Yeah, because I heard
'Cause
that.
I would love to see
I'm
that
looking
and-
for it.
and
I'm
be
looking
more on
for
your
it.
side at that point.
Here we go. Hold
because-
on.
That sounds crazy. That's
Well, the other
ridiculous.
thing that's crazy about the New York is the teachers. They're making the teachers do
Yeah.
it. They said 300,000 employees for teachers that they're like, oh, they have to get vaccinated before they come back to
I
work.
read
And
that
they were
today,
protesting.
actually.
They were protesting a couple weeks ago to
But
see
that's
that they
what I'm
don't have to
saying,
get it.
bro. There's gonna be so many people. People ain't just gonna sit back and say, okay, it might go for a month or so, but yeah, bro, it ain't gonna last. They're gonna
So what, you think the government's gonna fold and give in?
they kind of did already to us, bro. People
couple
started just
times.
doing shit, and they were like, all right, listen, bro, we fucking bitched and complained to De Blasio and that other asshole. Like people weren't
And what
having
happened?
it
Now
no
he's
more with the
mandating it
restaurant.
throughout New York. It did nothing for us.
Right, but they had to open it back up. And then they tried something else. And this is their something else. Okay, you just want to do it, you can have your fucking restaurants open 90% capacity again. But in the meantime, we're going to come up with a way, which is their way now. Okay, well, your guests can't eat there now unless they're vaccinated. Bro, it ain't going to fucking last. Something will come up or it'll ease off. It'll get better. It ain't going to go into full blast.
it
Oh,
gets
you better fucking do this and choke us by our neck.
I
Don't
think
leave your
everything
house
gets
or
worse
monitoring
before
your
it gets
accounts.
better, and
It's
that's
a
a
lot
saying
worse
for a
before it gets
reason.
better.
And I
This
think
isn't
that
getting
people
better
are going to
anytime
riot
soon.
again before they do anything like what you're saying. I think that that's how it could happen, but I think there's going to be riots again and stuff like that before they do stuff like that. I don't think they're just going to do it just because people are bitching and
What do
complaining. They're
you-
going to
well,
wait until
I
things
need to
happen.
ask, when you say people are going to riot again, what are they rioting over?
Over not being able to do what the fuck they want to do, not being able to go places
Mm.
because they have to be vaccinated. You don't think that there's a lot, like there are, not necessarily us, but there are a lot of people that don't want to get vaccinated that are crazy conspiracy theorists that are out there in fucking protests and stuff like that, that are not necessarily the straightest arrow and loose cannons. And they could fucking be the people to go out. All you need is a few hundred people to start a fucking riot, dude. It's not like it's crazy in a city of millions of people.
Yeah.
So that's why it happens in cities like Chicago and New York and this and that. And then you get the young kids that just want to join something crazy on top of
that
it.
whole thing in Chicago and what was it, like Seattle or somewhere else? Wasn't that because of like Black Lives Matter and shit like that? Did
I
that
think
not
it
have
was-
anything
I
to
think
do
it
with it?
was-
I don't think people were rioting because they weren't allowed to do what they wanted to do.
I don't know if it was necessarily because of the COVID or
I'm
those
pretty sure it was
protests,
because of
what,
Black Lives Matter. Actually, I
But
just
I'm
looked it
just
up.
saying, regardless, in the last 10 to 20 years, there have
So
been a lot more
technically,
riots.
nobody's actually rioted because we were told we can't leave our house.
Why did nobody
that's not a
riot
thing.
when we left our fucking military in Afghanistan? That's what I want to know.
Wait,
Biden
what?
just
What?
fucking up and left, took only some people, left a lot of Americans in Afghanistan, in Kabul by the airport, and nobody fucking batted an eye
Listen,
about that.
Just on that shit. First of all, that fucking asshole wasn't there himself. So I'm sure in the midst of like just shit happening quick. Again, Americans, there was
can't
no,
let
that
that
wasn't
happen.
really his call at that moment. I think it's all fucked up how that happened. I don't really know too much about it, but bro, like, I don't think the way he handled it afterwards was ridiculous. But in the moment of like everybody leaving and some people getting left behind, bro, like when you got to get the fuck out, you got to get the fuck out. I mean, like they were literally shooting at the planes trying to, bro, did you see the planes had to run people
Yeah,
over? If they didn't
dude.
leave that at that moment
But
and collected everybody, they probably all would have died.
the ones
That's what I
that were
think,
left
so I don't
behind
know.
were forced to clean up the airport for the Taliban.
All right, well, that's a different story. Yeah, bro, that's just called shitty fucking, that's just a shitty
To me, that's like more of a
Who? From
situation
the
that like
army,
you can't
right.
really, unless you were
That's not
there
the
or you're
government being
in,
fucking malicious.
like you're not
That's just
someone
them
that's ever
being
been in the
very
army
not
to assess that type of situation. So to me, that's
They
not
straight up
something that
just
we
left.
can really.
What happened to No Man
I
Left
get that.
Behind?
No.
I
I
don't
agree
think
with
that
you,
has
and
anything
I,
to
I
do.
think that
Right.
even if someone was left behind, that you should go back for them, even if they had to leave in a rush.
Yeah.
Again, I'm like Joe. I don't really know much
I
about
think
this
we're
at
just
all. I didn't hear
nitpicking
anything
at them
about
a
it.
little bit now.
But
It's not really.
I'm not saying you're wrong, Danny. I'm not saying
just
wrong.
pulled
I don't
out-
know anything about
He
it,
left
so that's what I'm
$85
saying. I
million
can't really
in equipment
speculate.
there.
No,
Yeah, I
I
don't know,
agree with
man.
you.
Helicopters, ammo, guns,
Stupid,
night
bro.
vision goggles, fucking
Night vision
bulletproof vests?
goggles. We got them when we're 40.
Even better. But like, how fucked up is that?
No, I agree.
This look now. Hear me out. This is a little not off topic, but a segue.
Mm.
You can call this a
love when he does
conspiracy
that.
if you like, but I think that this whole fucking
Just say you got a
debacle,
conspiracy theory you want to run by.
because
us,
I
bro.
don't think
That's
it's a
it,
conspiracy
please.
theory. I think that this is what's actually happening. There's got to be something bigger going on besides mask or no mask, vaccinate, no vaccinate.
Why
When
you always-
everybody
you
was in
always
lockdown-
think
Yeah, no,
there's
wait,
some
Danny.
bigger
Wait,
picture,
hold on.
But to everything,
No, wait.
always.
No, but not
Which
even
is
that.
because it's not always black
I
and
love
white.
I love
I
my best
agree
friend's
with what he's-
imagination, but
No, I agree
Between
with what
1
he's
and
saying,
10,
but not to the
10
mask.
being
Because
black
Danny, we
and
know what
1
happened
being
with the
white.
masks.
There's still 8 other fucking possibilities.
No, but we know what happened with the masks. The masks were just a profit scheme. It was from the emails from that doctor that was the one that mandated
That was
them
all
and
bullshit,
whatever.
bro.
Fauci, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about either.
But I'm just saying, no, he
Another
did. He
idiot,
just
bro.
said they weren't really going to protect everyone, but we can capitalize on it.
Hold
It's
on,
a money maker, dude. It was something for the government to make billions of dollars. Think about how many masks are still being sold right now.
Okay, you're right. What I'm trying to get at though is they
It's
pulled
about the
these
cheddar.
American. Of course, it's about the money. It's all about the money, dude.
Always. That's all they care about. Every decision for the
winner of
government
the
is based
war
on
owns
money
both
for them to
sides.
fund more things they want to do. It's all it is. Everything is about money so they could do what they want to do.
So now we just left all this equipment and shit in Afghanistan, right, for the Taliban. You don't. We literally handed it to them. You're gonna sit there and say that that was an accident. We're not gonna go back and get our shit. We're just gonna leave it up to them.
No, but
There's
this is
something
why I
else
was
going
saying
on. This is 20 years now since 9/11. There's
I mean,
gonna
but
be
Danny,
another.
think about it. Think
Yes.
about it.
And we
No,
just
but this is why I
supported that
said you
with all
can't
of their
assess
shit.
that
Fucked up, but, like,
situation is
if-
because you don't know how much the government has. That could have
Right.
been like 1% of what we had in our military.
I
They
know,
might have
now
not
they
cared about
have-
that stuff to leave it
It
there.
seemed
Now
like
the
a lot.
people
Yeah,
they
right,
should have
wait,
cared
wait.
about,
But now-
but that stuff they might have not really cared about. It could
Fuck
have been
the
old
stuff, it
equipment to
doesn't
us.
matter. It could be 1% to us. Now it's 90% to them.
It doesn't matter because if it's only 1% to us, that means we still got 99%
We're
more
still
firepower
going
than
to-
them.
we still have
That means
100
we're still
times
gonna
more
blow
than
them
that,
off the
man,
map.
I know.
So in a sense
Bro,
of a
but-
war, it don't
But
matter.
bro,
But this is what I
It's
mean. There's
just-
profit when you own both sides of the war. We just handed them shit to come to us so we could retaliate to them. It's a continuous vicious circle.
I
It's
agree.
fucked up.
But in the
Right,
sense
but
of how much
like,
longer it
that's
could
like
have
saying
taken
that's
to
why
get all
we
that
didn't go
stuff
back
out,
for it.
in the sense exactly in the sense of how much it could have taken to get all that stuff out, it might have actually saved money to leave it there for how
And
much it takes
lives,
to
bro,
get all
and
that
people's
stuff out
lives,
to
dude,
transport
at
it
that
out.
point.
Exactly, the fight that it would have taken to get everything out of there and clear it all out and whatever.
But
It
we
might
ran
just
like
be cheaper
bitches.
for us to leave it there.
Yeah,
No,
we
we
did
didn't
run
run
like
like bitches.
bitches.
Sometimes
Yeah,
you lose a
kinda.
battle
We
to win a
kinda
war.
did.
Sometimes you do retreat.
All right, similar
something
to
better in the
Vietnam.
First of
long
all,
run.
we
I get it.
won
It's
that
different.
war,
If
and I just think we
Vietnam-
were tired and we didn't want to deal with that shit.
But
and
there's
just
ways
Mm.
like,
to
get out.
extract your men. You
Wait,
don't
wait,
just
wait,
say,
wait,
"Oh
wait.
shit, Taliban's coming."
Cut
let's
out,
get
you cut
here."
out.
Bro,
You
but
do it
that's
one at a
just-
time.
You
cut
take
out,
our
you
shit
cut-
back.
That's
We
just bad
leave
protocol
everything.
on our army. That's
I cut out.
Both of you did for a
Who,
second.
me or him?
The whole thing just froze for me for
Yeah?
a second. Yeah.
No, I'm saying there's ways to extract people and our shit. You don't just get up and run. You don't grab what you can, snatch and run. You say, all right, listen, in the first 2 weeks, he even said it. There will be no American left behind. We will take our time. We'll extract everything. And what did he do? He waited for the last plane and he's like, fuck it, we're not going
but
back.
bro, you know why, dude? We just did all those years of war, man. Listen, I'm not saying, you know,
think it's just
fucking
over? Dude, we
fucking
just
Sleepy Joe's a bitch, bro. The Taliban
Put our tail
literally
between
gave
our
Joe.
legs.
bro, the Taliban literally gave us a timeline. They were like, you have 1 week to leave or we're gonna fucking start killing you guys.
Okay, but
And
who is
J-
America?
Sleepy
to
Joe
be like,
said,
you know what? What happened if we don't negotiate with terrorists?
Right, but again, it's either we don't negotiate or the only other option, Danny,
That's
is guns and
negotiating.
waves.
When you
No,
have an
that's a
or,
war.
No, abiding
dude
is not
just didn't want it,
negotiating.
bro. Right,
Abiding
he
by
didn't
something is
want
not
it.
negotiating. Knowing when you've lost is not negotiating something. Again, if you're
Yeah.
in their country, even if you have your stuff there, you're in their country, you're still outnumbered. That's a certain amount of people that we have out there. again, like I said, the way
Bro,
that
America
they left,
takes
it
the
could
L
have been
for
the
once,
best
bro.
way
That's
to
it.
leave. It
You're gonna
hurts to
kill
say that
us?
sometimes you have to lose some people and stuff, but sometimes in
I-
war, yes, there are casualties. So sometimes it does suck to say that these people got left behind or this, that. Again, we aren't talking about regular civilians. We're talking about war. We're talking about soldiers, dude. That is
Right.
a
These people
factor.
are
The
there
day
for a
they
reason,
sign
bro.
up,
It's not,
the
yeah.
day they sign up, they know the
Absolutely.
risk that they are taking.
I'm not
and
about
that's what
that
it
shit
is.
either, but like, bro, that is what it is, man.
Mhm.
He is
I'm not gonna
right,
lie. When I was
100%.
18, I was thinking about signing up, and I didn't because of that reason. I'm like, I don't know if I
It's
could
like
do
you,
that.
Danny. You
Belong
might run
to
into
the
somebody
government
who's going
once
to do
you
something
sign up.
crazy at work.
There is
bro.
no
You
going
signed up. You know that shit, dude.
You're
Yeah.
gonna die. You know you're gonna die, and I understand that that's to die for your country is an honor, but I'm not gonna die for my government.
No,
That's a
well,
big
see,
difference.
that way of
Joe
dying for your country is
did
not an honor. But
a
did
little
they all
fucking
die? Like
ridiculous.
you said, they had to clean up the airport, whatever. But did they all die? Do you know
I
that?
don't. You know what? I know that there was 13 members who died. I don't know if there was leftover, not leftover. Other people who were involved. I know there was
Like
13
aftermath.
soldiers that were left behind, and they're dead. They are not coming home. For what?
Yeah, but you don't
For
know
war.
the reason, though.
They're
not
Danny.
coming
You
home
don't
for
know the
war.
reason, bro.
Taliban
You
said,
said
get out.
before we
That's-
left them.
Wait, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Go ahead, say it.
That's
That's
exactly
for-
what you said. You said, "Oh, we left them there and they died."
Right.
But then we just asked you what were they, and you don't. What do you mean? You don't
What did
even
you
know.
just say? You didn't ask me a question.
No, you said that they said they had to leave. So, and then you're saying, oh, we just left them there. No, they said that they had to leave. So, in the timeline that we had to leave, that was how many that got out. Again, you're like, oh, that's not war. That is war. If that was the timeline they had to leave out of another country before they were going to be under attack, that's war, dude. They're abiding by what they have to do. Again, they knew they were going to lose that battle, and they
Okay,
did
but
the best thing
now-
that they could to survive as much as possible or retreat as much as possible or whatever. And again, I don't know much about this. I'm just assuming and speculating and whatever. But again, we can't make an assumption on something in war because this is something on a grand scale. Like you're saying 12 people, 13 people, because again, as a civilian, as someone with a family and things of that, you're thinking like that as a human. But when you're talking about war, you're not thinking about human like that. You're not supposed to
Okay,
be thinking about
so,
that. When you think about
Frank.
strategy and hundreds of people
Oh,
and
okay.
things like
Frank.
that.
But
you
now
don't
what do we
think
do?
like
Do we
that.
retaliate because they killed 13 of our Americans?
No, that's why we left. He don't want to retaliate. He's a bit.
I was gonna say Joe Biden's not like that. Donald
total
Trump probably
pussy.
would, but
Right, this is
Joe
total-
Biden's not like that. So it
total
also
pussy
depends on our
America right
You know
president.
that
you
North
know what I
Korea
mean?
started plutonium research again?
Yes,
Did
they've
not
been
know that.
doing crazy shit over there, bro. They do so much shit they're not supposed to. It's nuts.
It's crazy.
Bro, so real quick, just to kind of touch up on that, the edges here on that. When Danny says they were left there, so those 13 service members, they weren't just regular civilians, they were service members, army civilians, whatever,
Mhm.
however you want to call them.
Soldiers.
They were part of the group of people that never got to make that first round of flights out, and they were stuck there for a little bit. And the whole fucking thing was Sleepy Joe should have sent a rescue team earlier and quicker and more organized to get the rest of our service members out. And because
Yes.
he didn't, and he bullshitted a lot and was a fucking idiot, 13 of them ended up dying when they probably shouldn't have.
Yes.
They
could have been
100%
prevented.
should not have.
So
No,
that's,
that's a great
where I
point.
understand now Danny was talking about, because I remember the whole story, but I wasn't sure at first. But when you were specific and said, yeah, 13, I was like, oh, I know what you're talking about. So they weren't left there like, oh, you guys stay behind. Like they just in the middle of panic and like rushing out, they didn't make that first wave. And the whole thing was they could have gotten out earlier, but I don't know. Sleepy Joe.
I just feel like
Didn't do
things
what the fuck
should
he
have
was
been and
supposed to
could have
do.
been treated differently.
Right,
And
absolutely.
it's fucked up. And to
We
the
fucked
rest
up
of the
on that, bro.
in my
Big time.
opinion, to the rest of the world, America looks like a bitch now. And that may
Oh,
not, that's
yeah.
not true. We are not a bitch, but we look like a bitch. We're doing bitch things. You know what I mean? We just
Oh,
handed
yeah,
the
bro.
Taliban over $85 million in militia or whatever you want to call it, supplies.
Oh, the
And
biggest,
we have 13 soldiers that were fucking murdered. They're not coming back to their families.
the
and what are we
biggest-
doing about it?
Oh yeah, I can't. You know what?
I don't know. Go ahead. You could say. I'm
No,
Ah,
we're not doing
sometimes, bro.
anything about it. That's what's sad.
Yeah.
That's why it's a sad and fucked up topic. That's why. That's why
You
it
just
was
like
such a big
sometimes you
deal.
want to say things, but topics are so touchy. You just gotta
say what you gotta say,
sometimes-
man. I mean, rest in peace to those soldiers, but
man, nah.
No, I
it's
still
not
say
even
what you
about
gotta say,
that.
man.
Nah, I was gonna say, bro.
You acting like you.
Again, say it, Danny.
I'm not
Bro,
calling you a bitch. You just acting like a bitch by not saying shit.
Bro, but this is what I'm saying. Sometimes you gotta be the bitch and just walk it out. You know, walk it off,
Ooh.
man. That's it.
You
Said,
being a
fuck you,
bitch
you
is
ain't
not
getting to
being a
me,
man.
bitch. All right, nah,
Nipple having motherfucking bitch.
That's to all my sensitive people out there. I got you. I ain't gonna say nothing because I know how you be feeling sometimes.
Yeah, Frank, we get how you feel sometimes.
I get sensitive. I'm not gonna lie, I get sensitive.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just say real quick though. I know we didn't do an opener. I saw where this conversation was going, and I was just like,
We
"This
rolled
is
with
it,"
it.
and boom. So, hey everybody, we're specialists in nothing. Here talking about everything,
Thanks for
specializing
hearing
in
our
nothing.
banter. Shit got weird for a minute.
But we love y'all, and we love the support, and we thank
Thanks for
everybody
listening.
for everything.
Now,
Listen,
go
if-
get vaccinated, please. Your life depends on it.
If you heard what we were just talking about and you have any insight or more facts or you'd like to say something, please let us know because this
Right,
is
and
just
what we
three
say means
fucking
nothing.
idiots talking about nothing. We're not
Yeah.
specializing in this shit.
Just opinions.
So if you do know more about what we're talking about, or you have something to say, we'd love to hear from you. We love hearing from you, but we'd also love to specifically hear about this shit.
Also,
Thank you
I just want to
very
say
much.
between the three of us, if you are or not vaccinated, we don't give a shit.
We
if
don't
you're
give a
cool,
shit.
Yeah, no.
We don't give a
Yeah.
shit.
These are our total different opinions
Mm-hmm.
on it, but like
At the end of the day,
Do
we all
you?
still
Not
think
gonna
that we're
not
in
talk
America
to
and it's your
you
choice.
or right, you know,
Absolutely. At
That's
the end of
all.
the day, we all still think it's your choice,
Right.
and you should be able to
and
do
we
what you want to do.
respect it no matter
Love you
what,
for you.
man.
That's it. We
Absolutely.
appreciate
Can I do a plug real quick?
a what?
A
Plug
plug.
it up, man.
So,
plug?
yeah,
Yeah,
guys,
that's
make
Do
sure
that
that
in
you
your
guys
privacy of your own home.
A
Frank.
plug? What's a plug?
make sure you guys check out Specialists in Nothing. Email us, let us know. We got merch, we got hoodies, we got tank tops, we got t-shirts. I got composite notebooks, mouse pads, bookmarks, coffee
Kid's got his
mugs.
own dollar store opened up.
We got all kinds of stuff. Please hit us up on the website. Send us an
hats,
email.
sweatpants, shirts, hoodies.
Yeah.
Frank wasn't kidding when he
It's
said he
getting
wanted
cold.
to-
We got scarves, gloves.
We got all
vests.
kinds of stuff. He's right. The fall's coming. We got all kinds of stuff. I'm working on trying to get jackets, like actual jackets.
Like starter jackets, like with the Rangers
Yeah.
to pull over the zipper, the pocket.
Yeah, like not like heavy, but yeah, exactly like a light like jacket.
Light
jacket.
windbreakers.
Exactly. So I'm
Nice.
working on some different things too, but regular hats, like ball caps. So please, guys, hit us up on the website. Let us know if anybody wants any merch. We appreciate all our regular followers.
Check it out. Thank you.
Oops.